We don't really have a plan for this. We're just gonna shoot the shit, as you can see at the bottom of the screen if you're looking at Twitch. And so, I mean, it's the end of the year. Shit has been terrible for everyone. And that's just, I don't know. We need to ruminate on that for a bit. I don't know. Do you have any specific thoughts?
Well, I mean, everything that could go wrong pretty much went wrong this year. And we spent a lot of time chasing a lot of those threads to... But I think it really sums it up. We don't have it on the stream right now, but we have a video background, which is literally a dumpster in a flooded river.
Yeah,
and that pretty much sums up the entire year, right?
Yeah, that's right, and it's on fire. So that's the key.
Yeah, and it's on fire. Yeah.
I actually use that because at work, at the lab, we the IT people are assholes. So the screen times out after like 5 minutes. So we'll have a lot of our lab benches set up with dual screens so you can verify results from specimens that came in that you put on the automated analyzer and you're checking shit. But if you walk away and nothing pops up, after 5 minutes it locks, so you have to log in with your obnoxiously complicated password because HIPAA. So, but if you set up one of those monitors with a video full screen, it doesn't lock. And so I have been, since I've been in the lab, setting it up with that 10-hour loop of the dumpster just rolling. And, a physician will walk in and see the shit that he looks at it and they're like, yeah. And that, yeah. So,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's been a shit show at work, but I try not to mix work in this because I don't want people to know where I work. Right.
Yeah. So, but you do stuff.
I do stuff and things.
You do things
involve COVID-y shit. Of the people in our orbit, and Dr. Goldsmith, Jason, he's obviously much more the expert on this shit than I am. But yeah, we get the specimens. I am probably covered in COVID a good chunk of the day, so it's good times. So
yeah, good times. Yeah. It looks good on you, actually.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's little red.
It thinned out your cheeks a little bit.
Flush, yeah. It's a vascular disease, so it brings a little redness to your cheeks. Women pay for that. It's like they put stuff to make their cheeks blush out, but yeah, and then
yeah. Well, I noticed the dark circles under your eyes are not so bad today.
The other day, okay, so I know you thought you'd piss me off when you said that. So I showed up, and I'll just bring it out because it was funny. I showed up in one of our 5G Corona. Do I have one around here?
The Karen mask?
Karen repellent mask. And it had shrunk because I washed it. So it had pushed all my freaking eyeballs up in there. And it took me a minute to figure out why you said that. You said, dude, you kind of need Botox. And I was like, okay, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not going to, I can't be upset about that because, fuck, I'm not 20 anymore. But, man, no, it took me a second to figure that out. And then, did you see it? Oh, man, it's hanging from my door. I would go get it. I have one of those, it says it's Spaceballs. Spaceballs, the face mask.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I need one of those.
Yeah.
Save one for me.
Yeah, I got it off Etsy. Actually, someone I know that damn it, I'm drawing a blank now, but writer hosts a podcastle. Yeah, Setsu. She well, I think she goes by they because she's
proper pronouns. Yeah.
Actually, I never really tried it. I don't give a fuck. It's Setsu. So, it's Setsu. So, I never really examined and I guess it's not relevant. So, but when trying to describe somebody, it's helpful to have pronouns. So, I guess we'll use they. But, had one. Setsu had one on her. Fuck, man. This is hard. It's hard to try and give a shit. It really is.
Yeah.
And I guess I really, not to just go off the rails on the trans issue out of nowhere here, but it takes effort to try and not piss people off. And I think there needs to be a happy medium between people getting pissed off because some asshole is just like, purposely misgendering somebody, calling a trans woman sir, that kind of thing. And then there's on the other side just getting pissed off because someone's just kind of a dumbass and fucking it up. Like I may have just done in that whole diatribe that I just did. So,
well, I mean, if you're so sensitive that you're going to take offense that somebody doesn't recognize your correct pronoun when you haven't done anything proactively to do that. Yeah. So this is a new thing, and I've noticed this. Like if you go to LinkedIn or you go to Facebook or something like that, people are actually putting their pronouns like in parentheses next to your username or their real name, so that you know how to address them correctly. And that also kind of seems overly sensitive to me.
Right? I've had to explain to me what that is, and it's not that you're saying somebody needs help figuring out what your gender is, because I mean, if I had my pronouns are pretty easy. Our pronouns are pretty easy to guess, but it's also a sign of solidarity with people that need to put them in. That's how it was explained to me, and I kind of get it. And I'm okay with that. If you want to do that and you want to show, okay, cool. I mean, wave a trans flag and I put your little circle fucking Facebook profile picture that says I support, and you want to do that, cool. All right, cool. I get it. It's when people start discriminating against those who don't do that because they're like, well, you're not showing solidarity with us. That's when it becomes kind of fucking Maoist in a way, where like you're either with the cultural revolution or we're going to, shoot you in the fucking street. And
that seems unnecessary and not very tolerant, I would say.
Yeah,
for people that are looking for tolerance.
It's so hard, and it's funny how we ended up on this issue out of nowhere. But Setsu is an amazing person. Fucking quit Facebook because of all the bullshit, which I totally get. But the only reason I know of Setsu, I'm just gonna say Setsu because fuck, I'm not. I will fuck up the pronouns. I will bumble that. And we got into this thing because apparently the science fiction community is full of fucking assholes, and it's just. Any fandom that takes shit too seriously is full of assholes. And there was just this one person that was just needling Setsu and fucking with them. And, me, if I see a social media fight, I'm like, oh, I got to get in there. I've got to just, and yeah, so, I don't want to mention the guy by name because, he's such a little dick energy motherfucker that he'll just pop a 2-inch erection over just being mentioned. So I'm not mentioning this dude, but yeah, it was great. And then it was one of those rare internet moments where a lot of people of multiple backgrounds dogpiled on him. This is how I know Steve Mix too, because they're friends. They're both Bay Area people. And so this is where I first met Steve Mix, and we hit it off. We were just like high five tag teaming, this fuckwit, and it was glorious. And to this day, I wish I had recorded or screenshotted, kept the receipts on that. So yeah, it was great. Anyway, we're way the fuck off topic, but yeah, be cool. Don't be a dick to trans people.
Yeah, well, we don't really have a topic, but I just want to point out because somebody's going to point this out. So my pop screen, I have it on the back side of the microphone. These are directional microphones that I have here, but the reason I put the pop screen on the back is to eliminate any kind of echo that's coming off the bare wall that you can't see behind here.
Smart.
So since I already have the thingamajoozy on there, that's why I have the pop screen in the back, is just to try and eliminate any kind of echo that might be coming through. So I'm not a complete idiot, just partially.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I should be looking at the camera. Does that seem fucking intrusive? Because I'm.
Well, no. So I moved. Yeah. So I moved your video so that it's basically right under my camera. So I'm basically kind of looking at the camera. So I'm kind of looking at you, looking at me.
Yeah. I'm trying not to fuck this up because I haven't even looked over at Twitch and what's showing. We're totally not trying to be pro streaming people here right now. We're gonna get the kinks worked out and then maybe get fancy with this, but we don't even have a Patreon or anything. If you wanna support Bullshito, then you're gonna have to go to the website, to the forums and upgrade your forum membership, which we just launched the other day, and I'm not even sure if it's working. It's like $3.99 a month. So, that's our plug. Man, I'm not good at that.
Yeah, well, that's a great plug. Do we have any merch still on sale?
No, because we're out of it.
No, we're all out. We're all out of everything.
We don't do that to make money. And I actually saw a meme going around the other day, and it made me feel bad because we do have merch, and every now and then, and we definitely don't make money on it. Like half the time we lose it, and it's just a matter of just letting people who are in our community have shit that has our shit on it, so we almost sell it at cost. I think I made like $2 or $3 off of a shirt, and these hats were straight up just, that was a wash between shipping and everything. So whatever, it's not about that. And eventually when we turn over to be a nonprofit, it will be even less about that. So let's talk a little bit about that, like our plans for the future. Not so much as they are plans, but we have some ideas on how we want to grow this movement in this community. And so Phrost has been in the thing
kind of taking.
I get to point out that I have an open challenge to fight Alex Jones.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because
he's local.
I will punch him in his stupid fucking face.
You and he kind of look alike.
Oh, come on, no. That guy looks like last time when we were talking to I think it was just me that was talking to Jason. So I said he looked like a sack filled with Christmas ham in July or something like that. And so I need to come up with more things because dude, he looks like he's red-faced from what I am guessing without any. So this is not libelous, but he looks like an alcoholic based on the vascularity of the face, that whole thing. And he's a walking heart attack. So it would not be fair. It would be like beating up on a 200 something pound toddler. But I mean, it would also be hilarious because it would be like beating up on a 200 something pound toddler. So, I mean,
we ought to just put Hedgehoggy on him again.
Oh God! Wait, was it him that?
Yeah, it was Hedgehoggy.
Did they tangle?
Hedgehoggy grabbed his microphone and ran off with it.
Oh, we've got to get him on the show. I know he hates me for making fun of his. I don't know. That guy got in some crazy shit, and the last exchange we had, it was I called him out on. He was trying because he's a bi dude. He's like or gender fluid or something like this, right? I mean, cool as shit or well, whatever. He just doesn't give a. He'll screw anybody. So, but he's like that, and he promotes tolerance and that kind of thing. But he was also doing this thing where he was getting into radical Islam at the time. So
really,
I
totally missed that.
I mean, maybe he was just flirting with it or whatever. And this is on some social media site, not Bullshito. And so I pointed out the inconsistencies with that thing. And he got mad and called me like some fucking Sam Harris clone or something. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's an insult. But it's like, I mean, I don't want to look like Sam Harris because I think I'm better looking than Mr. Zen Stiller, but dude is sharp. So I can't, talk shit about that. He's literally a neuroscientist. So anyway, we do have video. It's somewhere on the forums. It's definitely on YouTube.
I mean, you can find it. Just go on YouTube and look for Steele's microphone.
Okay,
something like that. It's pretty easy to find. And
he used to do that shit. I mean, we're a weird nexus for people that don't know about Austin. I mean, Austin's weird, and Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and everybody's moving out here, but that's not the old Austin. Old Austin sits at a nexus of hyper blue, like crazy liberal hippies, and then like 30 seconds outside of Austin city limits, it's deep red, cowboy boots, and we will shoot you after sunset if you don't look like, this sort of skin color. It's pretty rough.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
There's a couple of places
they drug a dude behind the back of the truck. Or was that East Texas? But
yeah, I don't remember
Galveston, though. They took a dude, and obviously we're talking about this.
Right. Well, so Galveston, it's a completely different demographic there, because you have all of the Katrina survivors that moved to Houston and down the river and stuff like that.
Still no excuse for putting him in handcuffs and dragging him behind a horse to take him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was great. What was that? That was like
shit.
2 years ago or something.
Yeah. Like, there's optics, and then there's like, no! Holy, no! Whoa! There's no way they didn't know that was wrong. So, yeah. So, anyway, Austin sits as a nexus of those sorts of things. So, it creates tension, and there are groups that were, like our friend Black Monk, and, they would go down to the local periodic Ku Klux Klan rally, marching through the streets, and just start fucking punching motherfuckers. And well, as we all know, I'm kind of a fan of that sort of thing. So I was a latecomer. I had previously in my previous life had been trying to move to Austin, and it took a fucking divorce while on active duty to get me into this town. So yeah, but here I am, and so that's the rest of the story.
Yeah, Austin is definitely unique. So one of the things that we like to boast, and so I'm kind of a native. I was displaced for many years, but I'm back. This is my hometown. I went to elementary school here, middle school here, high school here. I went to college here, then I went to the Navy, and whatever. But so one of the things that we like to boast is live music capital of the world.
Yeah,
and I honestly believe that's true. I mean, we've had so much great musical talent that's come out of here. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Johnson, and just like some real
Austin.
Butthole Surfers. Yeah, they were Austin or maybe San Antonio, which is kind of in the orbit, right? You've got Pentatonics. Pentatonics is out of San Antonio.
Oh man,
they're from San Antonio.
Oh, cool. I aggressively avoid their videos.
Well, they are popular. And I mean, that's just, you could go on and on and on. Willie Nelson has a golf course about 5 miles from here. So
I guess we're obligated to bring up Willie Nelson, and because he is Austin. And then if you want to go real hardcore douche meme, Chuck Norris. So yeah, but
was he here?
Oh yeah, he's from here. I swear I saw him walking down Congress one day when I was at a coffee shop back in the before 4 times. So yeah, and I was like, because he's not a big dude. He's just I think he's what 5'7", 5'7" ish.
No idea.
He's not a big dude because he squared off against Bruce Lee, and they were about the same size. And Bruce Lee was kind of a twinky little.
Yeah, you know what? I think he is kind of short. Yeah, that seems to ring a bell.
Yeah.
So anyway, aside from that, we also have obviously a lot of history here. So whenever you look at like a Molon Labe or whatever, like Come and Take It. So that's from Gonzales. That's about an hour down the road, right?
The Come and Take It, the
Come and Take It
the San Jacinto flag, right?
No, it's Gonzales.
Is that? I don't remember. But the Moulin Rouge, whatever that slogan goes back to the Spartans, but they reinvented it during the war.
They reinvented it during the war, yeah. So so they had stolen a cannon from the Mexican army. And took it up on this embankment or whatever, and they threw up that flag, and so that was an instrumental part of when you talk about like Remember the Alamo and shit like that. So it was that whole kind of movement. So that all happened just down the road.
Did you have to take Texas history in 7th grade, or was it?
No, actually, I did not. So that's a really interesting thing. So like my kids are all taking Texas history. And they also all say the Texas Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
So those are 2 things that I never had to do. In my memory, I never had to do those. Maybe I just blanked it out, but I don't remember ever having to learn that.
I mean, I vaguely remember it, but that was like the least traumatic part of my fucking educational experience. I grew up in a small town, like
you were like up in Arlington or something. Oh, right?
No. I grew up about 90 minutes east of here. I don't want to name the small town, but fuck that town.
Yeah, okay, I can guess.
Yeah, it's just population 3,000. They got a McDonald's after I moved away, joined the army to get the fuck out of there. But that was the highlight. Before that, it was Walmart. And,
speaking of east of here, you've also got ZZ Top.
Yeah.
ZZ Top is a Texas band.
I thought they were from here though, because I know.
I think they were originally from Dallas, and then they really got their shit together in Houston. But the song LaGrange,
yes, it's about
a little town about 90 minutes east of here. Yeah,
my high school played LaGrange in football, so let's just say that's. And then once I understood, once I figured out or learned what that song was about, I was like, oh, because it's apparently LaGrange had the best little whorehouse in Texas, where the winner of the UT A&M game would go, which is the big state rivalry, would take the whole football team to go and celebrate afterwards. And then this Marvin Zindler, the Eyewitness News guy in the early 80s, shut it down.
Oh yeah, I remember that dude. Yeah,
and I was not old enough to understand any of this at the time, but they had a movie with Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds, I think, in it that played. It was a musical made about it. I don't know. I never saw it. Way before my time. I'm old enough to vaguely remember that guy. He kind of looked like Donahue in my fuzzy 6-year-old memory. But because I was a weird 6-year-old watching the news anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, I did. So I never. That movie was a little too racy, because you and I are basically the same age. I think we're maybe 2 months apart.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's not say how old we are, because I'm still trying to be cool.
So I remember that. I remember that movie coming out, and I remember my parents watched it, but I didn't watch it because it was too racy for my age. So someday maybe I'll go back and
I think the first movie I remember seeing was E.T. In the theater.
In the theater.
Yeah,
so in the theater, the first movie I remember watching was Episode 5.
Oh, Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. I have vague memories. I probably did see. No. When did the original Star Wars come out?
It was 76 or 77, I think.
So yeah, no, I would not have seen that.
Definitely don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that in the theater, but I have vague memories of seeing. I might have seen that in the theater, but it's not the first one I remember. I remember E.T. because there's that scene where all the federal scientists or whatever, the government people are coming over the hill dressed in their biohazard suits. And somebody in the theater yelled out, "It's the Orkan army!" Which I still remember that to this day. And the whole theater bust out laughing. And I didn't really understand until later on when I saw commercials for Call the Orkan Army because they're exterminators. And then, okay, yeah, I get it. But
so, speaking of movies that we can remember, one of the most significant movies of my childhood was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, that was creepy as shit.
Yeah, it was.
The Potato Mountain.
With the Potato Mountain. I remember that. Yeah. And the
the keyboard part. Honestly, that's all I really remember. The dude losing his shit and building Potato Mountain, and then the lights and
right. And then he was bringing shit in through the kitchen window to make a even bigger mountain in his living room or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that was cool and really, like you said. Very, very creepy, but very comical. So I've watched that again in the last 5 years. I want to go back
and watch all the old movies that I have vague memories of as a child.
What's a great one to watch is the V, the miniseries, the miniseries from the 80s. Not
they rebooted it, and that was terrible.
Yeah, they rebooted it, and it wasn't all that great. But the original one, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so creepy and so scary.
Huh. I remember watching Battlestar Galactica, though, on TV as a kid. God, we're dating ourselves here. So, all you millennials and Zoomers, because fuck, this is Twitch. So, all you guys can just, fuck right off. So, we're on your side, though, because, boomers are worse. So, Yeah.
So something else I used to do is I used to go down to the Dobie Mall, which I'm not sure if you know where that is, but it's on Guadalupe,
Oh,
down
no.
at UT at Austin.
No, we lived in fucking cow pastures and shit in oil field, Texas.
So, don't even talk. So, the watermelon capital.
Watermelon.
Have you been down there?
No.
Oh, yeah. The watermelon capital of the world is right down here, about an hour south.
No, we were like a kolache town. I think that was the thing.
Oh, everyone's a kolache town now.
Yeah, I know.
Used to not even be able to get it, but used to have to go out of your way when I was a kid to find like kolaches at all, let alone good ones.
Well,
now it's like every corner has a kolache place.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a kolache factory that made its way all the way up to Kansas City when I lived there. So, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I thought that was only in Texas and Czechoslovakia where, all the people in my hometown were from. Half those people had weird ass names like Nishtik and Schmardarler and stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of Texas was originally settled by people from Bavaria.
Okay.
Now what we call like modern day Germany. So if you look back into like the early 1800s and stuff, there were a lot of immigrants that came from Bavaria and settled in Texas. Yeah. That's how we have this like huge Germanic culture here. Yeah. So sausages and whatever, all the pastries.
Well, like Elgin sausage is a big thing apparently. I don't know, or whatever. I like eating meat. So. Man, but yeah. So, shit. We were talking about 2020. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
This is why we have guests, because if it's just us, we're just like, we're going from fucking trans people to sausages. So, yeah. I mean, just we'll avoid the part of the show where I start making terrible jokes. So.
Well, only a few more days until you can actually say it.
Oh no! You know what? I do want to say this because I mentioned it like on whatever social media shit. But I don't even want to say Facebook anymore because God, I'm so tired of that site and all the people on it. But so there seems to be a perception, and I don't think it's like conscious. I don't think people are consciously thinking, yes, this is what's going to happen. But based on all the chatter and the sentiments expressed, a lot of people seem to have the impression that, 2020 is on its way out, and then 2021's a fresh start. No, that's not how shit works. No, it's going to keep rolling. People are going to keep dying even more in the next coming year. Shit's not going to change. January 6th, there's going to be a huge protest and attempt to completely stop the changeover, the transfer of power from one person who was elected to another person who was elected. So yeah, the shit's just going to keep rolling. 2021 is not some magic. When the calendar flips over, the bad stuff doesn't. So
yeah. So I have a funny story about that. I work with a lot of IBM software, and they just finally fixed a Y2K bug within the last year. Yeah. Where they're using a 2-digit year, and their fix was to just advance the base year by 100 years.
Okay, so it'll be a problem.
So it's really not fixed. They just kind of sorta, but yeah, shit doesn't go away.
Yeah, it's just the problem is that a lot of people have such a weak grasp on how everything works, and there's just so many things that move around that you can't really understand completely how the system, how everything works holistically. But you can have little snippets and understandings, and you can extrapolate and see how different systems and the government and private businesses and all these things work. But most people have very little idea. And so it might as well just be astrology. So yeah, that's one of those things. It's like, 2021, the year's over. So it's clean slate now. Oh, motherfucker. No, shit. There wasn't like some plan by the lizard people to fuck up this year. And then, 2021's great. No, it isn't this. It's not a season of a reality show. It's just going to keep rolling. I mean, the end of the season isn't December or 31st. it's just going to keep going. So there's a lot of people that have that mentality that, okay, they can breathe on January 1st. It's like, no. In fact, you shouldn't be breathing without a mask on if you're in public. And you shouldn't be breathing on other people without a mask on, even more importantly. So,
big brain number here, but apparently there's a study out, surprisingly, that says that wearing a mask not only protects other people from getting it from you, but it actually also protects you from getting it from other people in most instances.
Yeah. It's
big surprise. Surprise.
It's gone back and forth, and to an extent, it's only gone back and forth like this, but the media has latched on to certain bits of each science story, which is a bigger problem that happens all over the place. And so this is the scope of doubt, and it moves around here, moves here, but then the media gets a clickbait and they slide it. They slide that fucking window left and right. And rightly, people don't understand because they get confused. And people that can't read a scientific paper because of all the numbers in it and all the jargon, because it's not written for the average person. Even the abstracts are not written for regular people to dissect. They should be, but they're not. So yeah, people are going to be confused, but it really hasn't moved that much. And I try to explain it to people like, actually, I don't even do this. Some brilliant person with a sick and twisted fucking mind explained it. It's like, okay, if you're going to piss your pants, you're pissing your pants. It doesn't get on the stranger. If you don't have pants, you're going to piss on a stranger. If the stranger's wearing pants, he's just going to get pissed on his pants. If neither of you are wearing pants, you're going to get pissed all over him. So sometimes you have to resort to that level.
Hey, don't judge. Don't judge.
I mean, if you're into that, it's cool, but it needs to be consensual. And breathing, when it comes to this virus, is like pissing on somebody. So, I mean, God, I have tried so many different ways to explain this to people. And at some level, yes, people that don't want to get it, they're not going to get it. So you don't argue with the idiot for the idiot. You argue with the idiot for the audience. And you have to distill these galaxy brain fucking concepts that require a knowledge of linear regressions and that kind of thing, and bring it down to, thick crayon level drawings to get it through to people who, especially not because they're stupid, because people aren't as stupid as they were 50 years ago, but because they don't have the time in their lives to fucking pay attention to everything, to understand all the things they need to survive in this complicated fucking world.
No, we make everything too easy, right? Everyone is just too soft. Like what they learn is how to function within society. They don't learn how to be an individual and how to think for themselves and how to provide for themselves. What they learn is these are the societal rules. This is, what you play by. Yeah. And going outside of that,
this is what you're entitled to, too. These are your rights. And we teach that, which is good. And I am all for that. But we don't, on the flip side, so much teach what our responsibilities are. I mean, every now and then you'll have somebody that gets up in front of a speech and say, don't ask what your country can do for you. I mean, what you can do for your country, obviously. I'm finishing the quote. In case,
right.
But
JFK, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the part of the podcast where we bring up Robert Heinlein. But the whole point is that you have a duty to people around you in a society. You can't exist on your own as an island. And with that comes a responsibility to the people around you. And let's get back to a crude analogy. If you're in an elevator with people, you have a duty to not pass gas if you can avoid it, right? That's to keep everyone in the elevator from losing their lunch. And extrapolate that to your life in general. You have a duty to not fuck up how the rest of the society keeps rolling, to not throw sand in the gears, to, use your fucking turn signal, to, merge, to yield in the correct order of traffic, and all those sorts of things that keep society going that we don't want to have a law for about each and every sort of possible instance in which somebody's an asshole. We just want people to do the right thing. And that's where our education system has failed us. It doesn't teach people that it's not about your freedoms. It's about your responsibilities just as much. And we don't prepare people to think critically about what they need to do and figure it out. I mean, most people like, fuck. Oh my God. Speaking of elevators, you would think just geometrically by volume, it would make sense. It would be intuitive for people to wait for the people in the elevator to exit the elevator and then go in, because the people that are trying to get out, if you're coming in, you're going to stop them from getting out, and then you're just going to have a full fucking elevator. So
no, that's not the way it works. No, the door might close.
Yeah, I know. So you got to and people don't think at that level. So it's a flaw in humanity, really, that these are things that you have to learn by society getting in your ass if you fuck it up, you know? Every now and then somebody gives you a dirty look if you're the one pushing into the damn elevator when they're trying to get out. Yeah, and then you're like, oh man, am I the asshole? Yes, you're the asshole. Just don't be it next time. We're cool. And that's...
So, traffic is one of my pet peeves, right?
Yeah.
Because people just don't know how to fucking drive. They just don't. And the dog is coming in here now. So.
Hey, dog. Is it...
Let's
I don't
see
want to say your dog's name on camera because, you know, sometimes that's some people's like security question.
Come here. No, it's not. I don't have that there.
I mean, I wouldn't think. Oh yeah. He did not look happy about that. But
well, he's invading my space, which is kind of the point.
So I've met your dog. Your dog's cool. But Anyway, just people don't learn that. We don't raise children anymore. We teach children, basically.
No, we don't.
Well, parents don't, because parents are so fucking busy. I mean, remember when it was possible for somebody to have a single income? I mean, maybe we don't remember. We understand that it existed at a time before.
No, but
women's rights. Don't understand that at all. But
women's rights,
But when women went back to work, then the people that had most of the real estate and this and that were renting out the shit. Yeah. I was like, oh, 2-income houses? Here's a bunch of extra shit that you can buy, or we're going to raise prices. This economy. But anyway, it shouldn't matter if two people want to work, great. If they want to put their kids in daycare, great. But you're not able to do that. So when you had the system where one parent, it doesn't have to be the man or the woman, it's either of them. When one parent could work and the other could raise the kids got raised. But they don't get raised anymore. They get sent off to a daycare, preschool, elementary school, and they just get shuffled through the system, failing upward in some cases. And very little is of the duties and the responsibilities to the rest of the society is taught. It's not like, you're learning fucking categorical imperatives in 8th grade. History doesn't teach that. They teach a sanitized version of all the stuff that happened. You might get lucky and have a teacher that is like, okay, yeah, this is what the textbook says, but we kind of genocided all the Native Americans. It was bad. My kid had a assignment about about Texas and about the missionaries that were they had the natives. They taught them how to do things. Yeah, motherfucker, they enslaved them in a fucking camp. They forced them to do labor and to give up their traditions and convert to Catholicism. So we supplemented her education because...
Well, yeah, I mean, blame the Catholic Church for that, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, blame the Catholic Church, but we can also blame the Texas school board that allows books that do not tell the full story and leave out those details. Now, you don't want to just lay into an elementary, middle school kid with atrocity, everything's terrible. You want to feed it to them in a way that they can understand, but you also don't want to just sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, everybody in the history did the right thing and the founding fathers were perfect saints. They never had slaves, or they never raped their slaves and had left a line of descendants, that kind of thing. So that's what we're facing is like kids go to their school, then they have all these people that they think are experts that teach them this is how things are, this is what things are, this is what you expect out of life. And then maybe they go to college, maybe they don't. Either way, they eventually encounter things that show them that pretty much everything they learned was fucking bullshit. And they get angry and they don't trust experts anymore. And so now we're here and we have people coughing on, the clerk at Walgreens for telling them to wear a mask and, people throwing temper tantrums.
I feel your pain. So, so part of that is that we have kind of abdicated the responsibility for education.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. As parents. But we don't really have the time or the luxury to do that anymore because we're not raising our children. We drop them off at 7 or 8. In the before 4 times. Now things are just God knows what fucking the average person's doing. And then we drop them off and then you pick them up at like 5 or 6 when you get off work. And then you spend a few hours and you're fucking tired. They're kind of, wound up from being running around and, preached at some bullshit playing with blocks. And then, you're not going to sit there and explain you might have dinner with them if you give a shit, or else you might feed them a Hot Pocket or a Happy Meal on the way home. And and then you send them off to bed and you repeat that 5 days a week. And then Saturday, when you're looking forward to, just being a human being an individual who thinks for themselves and enjoys life, you got your kids and you might might have enough energy to focus on them and just do things with them. But more than likely you're taking them to soccer or piano or fucking curling competitions or whatever the hell people do with their kids. And you're just running 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. And just, that's the life. And you don't have time to think about, oh shit, should I read up on who's running for my local, representative? The guy with the eye patch looks cool. Maybe I should vote for him.
So I know you don't like him, but I think he's.
I wanted
whatever.
To like
he's not in our district.
I want to like that guy so bad, but he's a fucking chode. God, he plays the victim, and he pulls out the veteran card way too much for somebody that's just supposed to not give a fuck. For somebody with a fucking eye patch, you should. Literally a Navy SEAL, and we don't have to say the guy's name. You know who he is. He plays the politics.
But that's what he does. He plays the politics. So
if you want to be the outsider and come in, bring the values of your organization, bring your values of your military experience to there. Don't abdicate that shit just to play those games. Say, no, fuck that. I'm coming in here. You elected me because I'm a motherfucking Navy SEAL and I get shit done. So I'm going to get shit done. You know what? I'm not going to bend over and, pucker up for this draft dodging fucking turpentine sucking asshole in the White House. No, that's bullshit. But if you have to play with the narrative and your re-election requires just disavowing what's actually happening and the realities, then, fuck you. You're in bad faith. I don't fucking respect you anymore. Don't play the game. Man, we need more people that refuse to play the game.
Yeah, no, I no disagreement there.
Oh man, I would.
We're so way off the rails.
This is 2020 shit. So we're not even gonna bring up fucking pumpkin spice president, but we need to talk about the Eagles because there are a handful of people in Congress that don't fit into a niche. Justin Amash, he left the fucking Republican Party. I don't even know what he's doing, independent, libertarian, whatever. And I don't agree with him on everything. I agree with him on a lot of things. Great. Andrew Yang, not elected to anything yet. He's running for mayor of New York City, apparently, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's,
He can't affect his platform from there. It's not like he can give every New Yorker $1,000 a month because God knows what that would do. It's a scale thing. UBI would only work at a national level. So, but there are people that you can tell aren't compromised by this shit. They're not playing the politics. They're not sucking up to the woke shit on the left or the Trumpist shit on the right. And it's just, I just want somebody to come in there like a John McCain who'll stand up and say, no, ma'am. No, my opponent, Barack Obama, is not a Muslim. He doesn't hate America. We disagree on a lot of things, and those disagreements are important, but have the disagreements about the things that actually exist. So if we could just normalize that and not this alternative fact bullshit. I'm so tired of calling out the right. I'm so tired of it because most of my life I have been like 1 foot across on the right, left-right scale. I mean, authoritarian, libertarian. I'm definitely libertarian, but fuck, I'm just so tired of these people. Their whole career, their whole role in politics depends on ignoring reality and just making up the shit they want to be true and just repeating it until enough people believe it.
But they're not making up the shit that they want to be true. They're making up will secure them the votes.
Well, it's still, right? I mean, yeah, the lies, the narrative, and this is another thing, and this was brought up, Chris Kavanaugh, and on the Gurus podcast that I've mentioned maybe before, maybe they brought up the fact that a lot of people on the right do this. They complain about postmodernism, the philosophical approach to understanding the world that says you can't really arrive at objective truth because, not that it doesn't exist, but you can't get there because everyone is awash in these narratives and their perspective is skewed by what kind of worldview they want to have. And that's fine. But then you can take postmodernism and weaponize it and say, well, we're going to change these narratives so people believe that, and we're going to shift what is normal, what is reality for people. And I guess, here I go. On the left, that would look like trying to say that there are no differences in the biological sexes, that's just a belief. That is a left hyper woke thing that is going through academia right now, that biological sexes don't exist because there aren't just XX and XY chromosomes. There's some outliers that exist that, make it a spectrum and not a binary, which no, that's not the case. I mean, sex is about reproduction. It's not about gender identity. It's not about personal identity, and it's not even about fucking or who you're attracted to. It's literally about gametes, your chromosomes trying to create another human being. So, but that's on the left. But on the right, that would be a postmodernist interpretation. And the right, a lot of people like Ben Twerpero and who's that chuckle fuck I hate, Dave Rubin, fuck that guy. On the right, I don't like him. And even Jordan Peterson, who is league smarter than both of those two fucks. It will completely,
and also freshly out of rehab.
Yeah, he survived. So I mean, good for him. Go spew your Jungian bullshit and sell more meat diet shit, I guess. Whatever. But on the right, they complain about postmodernism like as if it's a problem that's exclusively on the left. But then they turn around and create this old fucking bubble of reality, like that their supporters believe like the election was rigged because. 75% of Republicans think the election was rigged. Yeah, motherfucker, because you spent the last year saying the election was rigged. To your supporters, they're going to believe you. And the fact that it's not 100% means you kind of fucked up. So, but I mean, creating this bubble of reality, and I'm tired of calling it out on the right because I just want one. It will never be the simple. The universe will never be simple enough to get the shit that I want out of it. And I understand this, and I'm just going to fucking deal with it. But I wish for one shining moment that the political position in this America was not whether we should impose tradition or move forward with progress, or we should destroy our systems and rebuild new ones, or keep our systems in place. That the conservative, liberal, progressive, dichotomy. I just wish it was this. These are facts, and this is what we want to be true. And this party bases its policies on what we understand is absolutely true, and we try to do best and make the best decisions based on the cold hard facts, regardless of what we feel. And then the party of the feels. If we could just do that for one generation, we'd have colonies in fucking different galaxies right now. I swear to God, we just get past our fucking petty bullshit. And that was my unhinged rant for the evening, I guess.
All right. Well, so I'm not gonna, because I think you and I are mostly in agreement on that, and I think most of our community kind of agrees on those points as well. So I pulled up over here on a different screen, which you cannot see, a list of significant news stories from 2020.
Okay.
So I thought, let's just kind of go down these.
Yeah, let's
see what's going on.
Let's see how far we can get down them before we get derailed. So we're like 50 minutes into this. So.
Oh, okay. So let's kind of.
For everybody else that's listening at home, I sound nasal because in Texas, every year around this time, the cedar trees try to fucking murder you. They just spread their, speaking of gametes, they spread their fucking pollen everywhere. And
so, dude, when the berries start coming out, you need to eat like 2 or 3 berries a day.
Berries? They're cedar berries?
Yeah, the little blue things.
I've tried like the local.
You can actually buy them at grocery stores.
Cedar berries, huh?
Yeah. So the idea is that you're proactively prepping your immune system to be able to handle that.
Fuck, it's a little bit late now because like I said, I'm feeling like this.
But I mean, like, I know where you live. I know what your backyard looks like. Just go out there and, grab some berries, like 2 or 3 days. Just go on a walk.
It's going to be like that scene from the Hunger Games. I'm going to have to do some research before I go out there and try to fucking avocado wolf my ass out, run around in the backwoods.
Well, I can't speak to the efficacy of that procedure, but I can say that I have eaten the berries and it won't kill you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just like the whole point is identifying the correct berries because there's all kinds of berries back there. There are, and I'm sure some of them would fucking make me see lizards and.
All right. So number 1, Australia on fire.
Fucking quiet, man.
I almost didn't even remember this until I pulled up the story.
It's been a fire hose of awfulness. Okay.
All right. So, I mean, obviously that was really bad.
Yeah, those poor criminals.
Yeah.
We have like 4 people in Australia that listen to this, but they don't care because they're Australian. They're like, yeah, good one, mate.
Put another trip on the Bobby. All right. What's this? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle quit the royal family.
I was about to make a rude gesture involving a back and forth motion, but I will abstain. Who gives a fuck?
Okay, Kobe Bryant.
I didn't personally care because I don't watch basketball, but I understand how some people could be hurt by that, so I'm not going to say something mean. I don't know.
Well, so the more interesting part of the Kobe Bryant death story, for those of us that are aviation enthusiasts, was how the helicopter had ignored some basic safety protocols for flying in fog. And it's what we call VFR to IFR transition, where they were, obviously in a hurry and not paying attention to their instruments. They moved from a point where they were able to see everything to a point when they were crossing the highway where they couldn't see anything. And that's what caused them to crash into a mountain. So definitely a pilot error there. Yeah. So that was kind of, definitely an avoidable tragedy there.
Definitely doesn't have a job anymore.
Well, he's dead, so.
Well, that's the joke. So I told you I wasn't going to make jokes, but I fucking can't help myself. So let's move on from that one because there's more bad ones.
Yeah, there's more bad. So there's the impeachment. I think we've kind of already done that.
Yeah.
So next one is Parasite sweeps the Oscars.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I still want to see it. I'm not a big movie buff. I just a couple weeks ago saw Jojo Rabbit, which won, right? It won. Or no, it won something.
It probably won something. I don't even know what that is.
I thought it.
To be honest,
it's the Taika Waititi movie about the little boy at the end of World War II in Germany and who thinks
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking brilliant. There's so many good parts in it. And then there's one part that you're like, ooh. Okay, so don't watch it with your kids. But otherwise it's cute and adorable and terrifying because it's adorable. Because he's an adorable little Nazi. So,
well, I mean, all little Nazis
I
are
guess
adorable.
Hitler was a little adorable too. He's just a tiny little.
He was like, what, 5'6" or something?
He's a tiny genocidal fuck.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, good. He deserved it.
Yeah. BLM.
Well, hold on. Let's back up to the Harvey Weinstein because it was the whole Me Too thing, and he was like the apex of that. But a bunch of people got caught up in that, and
so there were a lot of what I think were also false positives that were caught up in that. And so it became almost like the new McCarthyism for like the last two to 3 years.
There was a legitimate moral panic over that, but there was also, I mean, it was the problem was systemic, so it existed, and it was good that it came out, but it's a pendulum. You swing it, it's going to fucking keep swinging, and then it's going to swing back, and you don't have control once you get the momentum going. So you drop bombs, and there will be side casualties, and there'll be people that probably deserve to get blown up a little bit, but maybe don't so much. I mean, like, you drop a bomb, you kill a Harvey Weinstein, cool. You drop a bomb and, maybe Louis C.K. should have just been slapped a bit instead of, like fucking metaphorically killed. I don't know what the guy's doing now, but what he did was awful, but it wasn't Harvey Weinstein awful. So there's a great.
Well, apparently what Louis C.K. did is
creepy and nasty.
He had consent though, right?
He had implied consent by not. Well, the problem is the consent. The ability to give consent in that situation, as I understand it, was lesser because he had high stature and the people that were involved were like up and coming comedians. So he exploited the differential, and they want to impress him because he's a.
Okay. I thought it was just like fangirls.
No, it was like other comedians that were at the show. They're like, "Hey, you want to go hang out? Come back to my hotel room," and then. Bravo, here's little Louis. So, and there was no contact, but it's still an imposition is like probably the least, the nicest way of putting it. So yeah. And it's awkward because you're a female comedian that wants to be like, this is an idol. Louis C.K. was like the number one comedian at the time. He was fucking like at the top of the game. And so, yeah, it's a situational thing where he had the social power. I mean, it's not like he was stopping anybody from being there, but the fact that he had some kind of pull over their career kind of made them go along with it more than, or just kind of, I'm awkward, but I'm just going to deal with this creepy fuck and then deal with it later. And he got called out on it by a bunch of female comedians that were more at his level. I think Tig Notaro, I'm not super into the comedy world, but yeah, so that's what it is. And it was bad, but it wasn't Harvey Weinstein bad. It wasn't Bill fucking Cosby bad. So, I mean.
Yeah, no hitting all.
So, and if I remember right, Matt Damon came out and said something along those lines. It's like, maybe we don't need to go after every single man who's had an awkward contact. Who's that squirmy little squeaky voice fuck from Parks and Rec? God.
I don't watch that show.
Oh, no. He's a comedian himself. He talks like this. Yeah. Why can I not remember his name? I actually wanted for Christmas last year. I wanted him to fight Ben Shapiro in a helium-filled room. That's what I asked for Santa, and I didn't get it. Fuck, Aziz Ansari. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that guy.
He had an awkward date with somebody he picked up at a bar.
That's right. I remember that.
And it was just awkward. And I think he came on to her and she didn't want it, or maybe they slept together and she decided afterwards. It was just normal human interactions that are messy and weird sometimes, and involving sex, it gets even weirder. But they tried to cancel him over that shit, and that's not cool because at that point, it's not about justice. It's about power. It's about wrecking shit because you can. So that was, it went off the rails a little bit. And some people are like, yeah, man, my life is meaningless. So I'm going to fuck up this guy's life who has a life better than me. So, okay, let's move on.
Yeah. So just to kind of put a wrapper on that. So I was trying to, when Me Too really started jumping off, it definitely was fascinating to see the way that just every other person was just a sexual predator all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right?
All men, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No women. We save that for the school teachers.
There was a good story about it. I remember this because the only reason I remember this because the dude's name was Nimrod. All right. So he was a grad student for a female professor of philosophy, I guess, or maybe his history, philosophy, super well regarded feminist, but she was constantly sexually harassing him. So, I mean, she would invite him over to her house and be super flirty with him and like do the creepy, I'm your supervisor, so I'm going to massage you shit, that kind of thing. And he called her out on it and got fucking wrecked for calling her out. How dare you? And everyone came to her aid. All the same people that were going after Weinstein and shit came to her aid because it wasn't for them. It wasn't about justice like it was for a lot of people, for probably most people. It was just about circling the wagons and being loyal to your tribe. And fuck that. It's either wrong or it's wrong. So.
Right. You can't have it both ways.
And it was bad enough the dude was named Nimrod.
All right, so moving on. Next one is BLM. Yep. So that's kind of a two-pronged thing because we're talking about BLM. So obviously we had a number of issues of alleged and or proven police brutality that involved people of color. And then we had all of the subsequent protests and riots. We had Chaz or Chad or whatever the hell that was called, right? And so all of that kind of spawned out of this, singular idea. And so it took our minds off COVID for.
Yeah, and that was great timing. Hey, you know what? It was bad enough when the first lockdowns went into place and those asshole Gravy Seal motherfuckers were out there in their Walmart, plate carriers that they were spilling out of and protesting without masks. Like, yo, no, I'm not wearing a mask as communist and those fucks. And so, okay, everybody's like, yeah, fuck you. And then the people went out to protests shit that was really bad, and I get it, and a lot of them did wear masks, and a lot of them did try, but they're still out there protesting, and there's no really good solution to that. It's like, you don't want them out there in crowds and protesting shit, much less burning down buildings. I don't even want to get into that, but it's still bad fucking timing. Yeah, I get it. Breonna Taylor was fucked. That was completely fucked up, and there's just so many, and George Floyd, that was pretty fucked up too. So I get why people are angry, and when you're angry at that level and has been built up for fucking 200 years in some senses, okay, yeah, it's going to happen. It's a little bit different, but it's still a problem. But what I want to point out on the Black Lives Matter thing is people don't want to talk about the nuance of the situation. They want their narrative to be that something is either 100% good or 100% bad. And when it comes to BLM, it's the concept that Black Lives Matter. And then there was a organization that was around the concept. And then there was the fringy fucks that try to take over the movement to make it about some weird fucking like Maoist socialist, overthrow the fucking government and start over from scratch and drag landlords out of their houses and shoot them shit. And that's the problem with any hyper emotional moral panic again, movement. Not that it was unjustified in the cases of people being mad about the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and like all of them. But you have to be able, as an adult human being who's participating, even just as a voter, whether or not, much less just talking about stupid shit on social media or arguing with your relatives or coworkers. You have to be able to say, to distinguish between the narratives, Black Lives Matter is this sanctified, holy group of righteous warriors, or, they're just evil communist fucks. You have to say, okay, these are the problems with this side. These are the problems with this side. Let's be the reasonable people in the middle and try and identify the problems and the real problems and fix them.
So part of the problem that I see that happened there is analogous to what happened with the original Tea Party, right? And you kind of said this. So there was this kind of grassroots, like, I don't like the way the government's working. But then there was this kind of organized and well-funded Tea Party that came in and co-opted the message and kind of took it in a different direction.
I remember,
and I think that same kind of thing happened with BLM.
I went to the. I might even have some footage out there because I put on my journalist hat almost literally and went to the Tea Party protests and some of that stuff when it originally happened. And this is in Kansas City, so nobody gives a fuck about what happens in Kansas City. But I went to that and tried and figured it out, and it was obvious in the early stages that there was almost no daylight between the Tea Party movement and Occupy Wall Street. It was the idea that shit at the top is fucked and we need to hold these people accountable for destroying the economy and then getting all our tax dollars going to them to solve their problems so they didn't lose any wealth, so they didn't have to come fucking shop next to us at Walmart. That was the original idea behind both the Tea Party and the Occupy Wall Street movement. It's just fucking people angry and seeing that the elite didn't give a fuck about them, but their problems got fixed by the government while everybody else just lost their homes, lost their savings, lost their 401ks and everything. So, but yeah, on both sides, it went from like Occupy Wall Street was a legitimate movement. Like, let's protest this shit until we get some change. And then all the fucking drum circle motherfuckers and the drug smoking hippie fucks and the, free love weirdos and people named Ketchup showed up to fucking, make it into a party like Burning Man. And then on the right, the Tea Party, the people that said we have a legitimate grievance with how fucking all this shit is taking place in government too. The Koch brothers started sending people in, and then local Republican candidates started, say, hey, these people are really fired up and they're kind of on our side of this. So let me just say a couple things that show up at stuff. And every now and then in the beginning, there would be like a mainstream Republican that would show up to one of those events. And the audience was shouting the fuck down, like just creatively, and they did booed off the stage. But while the person that was like, hey, let's really fix these fucking problems would get cheered. But slowly it went from those people that wanted to solve problems to some knucklehead like Sarah Palin saying, okay, yeah, I'm Tea Party too. And then fucking bitch McConnell. That wasn't a mispronunciation. I didn't flub that. That was, Lindsey Graham. But basically the Tea Party was the Republican Party for a minute, except for John McCain, who had fucking principles. Oh, God. Man, could you imagine what the world would look like right now if he had gotten elected? Not that I wouldn't have wanted to see a black man elected president. It was cool. I was stoked on that front. But I don't think a large portion of the country was ready for it. And then they just lost their fucking mind. And then 8 years later, that manifested. So yeah, we're way off the rails on the BLM thing, but
yeah,
movements get co-opted by the people with power to serve their interests. Rarely, unless people are just go ham and start dragging people out of their houses and, guillotines and tar and feathering and shit. Anytime there's a populist movement, it's going to get fucking taken over. So welcome to life. Yeah.
So anyway, and just for the record, I was never a John McCain fan. But,
no. I mean, he had his problems. He wasn't great. I mean, his predecessor, I guess the person whose shoes he filled, would have been a perfect candidate for these times, Barry Goldwater. But I mean, you take what you can get, and it's always a matter of the least bad. So,
yeah, I guess. I mean, everyone says that Reagan was the epitome of the Goldwater era of thinking.
Reagan's legacy has gotten, man, it's so muddled and so like rehabilitated. He did some shady ass shit, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So this was about Black Lives Matter, and we ended up talking about Reagan. Anyway, so we just can't have nice things.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, this is more about fucking. Why have I forgotten his name?
Epstein.
Yeah, who totally didn't kill himself, and you know what? For a show and a website and a community that calls out conspiracy theories, motherfucker. You really think he killed himself? I mean, I'm not saying we have evidence. I'm not saying believe it. I'm saying, fuck, that is the most parsimonious explanation that it was set up, but I can't support it. So don't run off saying it's true. Just be skeptical, and the good kind of skeptical, not the one that just, thinks vaccines have chips in them and shit.
Right.
So,
no video, no guards on
the guards
duty.
Were asleep, and the video went out and miraculously. And motherfucker was William Barr's tutor. The fucking head of the Department of Justice, the Attorney General of the United States. This guy was his tutor, and yeah, he kind of just poofed. So remember when we had Antifa, like Jerry on?
Yeah, we had Jerry on. Yeah.
In the before 4 times, when we were talking about shit like this. Yeah, his idea was that Antifa from the forums, that was his username. So I mean, long story. You look up the episode. But yeah, his idea, and I personally think it's a little off the rails, was that it's super conspiracy theory time. Was that he got smuggled out and the body was never his body, and whatever, he's on his own island, Sex Island 2, Electric Boogaloo. So yeah, but whatever, we don't know. It was just fucked up that he didn't go to trial. God, that would have been a better outcome. So now his girlfriend, lover, fixer, accomplice is in jail and not dead. So yeah, and
still not dead. So they actually just rejected a second appeal for her to get released.
Yeah, fuck you.
Because whatever.
You fucking pedophile.
But whatever. Just like Al Qaeda and Saddam Hussein, there's a vacuum there that somebody is going to fill.
Yeah.
So
it's
not going away.
No.
I mean. Have you ever heard of a little place called Costa Rica?
I've been to Costa Rica, but that was from work. I didn't know that there was a thing going on in Costa Rica.
Really?
No. I
went there. Dude, no, like the underage.
I just went there to fix a server
tourist
in government
industry
headquarters one time, back when I was doing IT. Long story short, government employees in Costa Rica can't be fired. So I literally had to convince my executives to send me down there to fucking punch some commands into a fucking router and then fly back. So yeah, that was stupid. But they do have a Taco Bell in the country. That is what I learned about Costa Rica. They literally can't get fired. So I showed up. They took a 4-hour smoke break in the morning and then a 4-hour smoke break in the afternoon after lunch.
Sounds like that sounds like the Dutch Navy.
Well, no, the thing is, and this is a factoid that, I'm actually, it's kind of cool. The reason for it is a good idea. You can't fire a government employee because what would happen is, a new president would get elected, bring all their cousins and cronies and shit in and give them government jobs. And then the new president would come in afterwards, fire all them, bring their cousins and cronies in and give them new jobs. And so shit just didn't fucking get done. So the nuclear option was to just not fire government employees, which, I mean, human nature. They're just not going to do shit. And they're already fucking government employees. They don't do shit even when they can get fired.
We have a name for that.
Government.
It's called Deep State.
The Deep State. I mentioned this somewhere else, and I don't even remember because everything's blurring together now, and lockdown. But when somebody says deep state, I picture a combination of Milton from The Office and the sloth from Zootopia. Like, basically, they're the same person sitting in a cubicle in some fucking grungy government building, like hating their job and waiting for it to turn 5 o'clock. And that's the deep state. They're just, I have to file this fucking paperwork for this fucking asshole. Oh, God, just shoot me in the face. So, yeah. And then they probably fly to Costa Rica on the weekend.
Yeah, probably.
God, I didn't know that, man. That's depressing. Costa Rica's beautiful.
Really? You didn't know that?
No.
Like the underage sex trade in Costa Rica is a big deal.
I mean, I know about the joke about like Southeast Asia that's the thing, because there was the Saturday Night skit.
That's Ladyboys. That's different.
No. There's the Bill Hader skit where it was a fake commercial for Rosetta Stone. And he's like, I have to go to Thailand. I need to learn Thailand so I can go to Thailand for a thing. So I mean, and he looked super creepy in it, wearing a polo shirt and it was. But it was great. Maybe we should put that on the website. But so I didn't know anything about Central America. That's fucked up. Because I was stationed in Panama, as you know. Never heard anything about that when I was there. It's not that I was going to fucking seek it out though. But Jesus Christ.
No, it's primarily Costa Rica, and if you look. So, and actually, this was a real scandal that happened.
Huh.
So, this guy named Vin Gupta, who is the CEO of
that's not a
Info.
Name.
No. It's an Indian name.
Yeah.
He's a CEO of a big data company in America, Info USA. Okay. So he used to fly Bill Clinton and some other notables down to Costa Rica, and actually, and so you'll enjoy this. So allegedly, also Rush Limbaugh went on one of these junkets down to Costa Rica. So, this is all out there. It's all rumor. I don't think any of it's really been proven, but I think there's circumstantial evidence that you can look up. Just go look up, Costa Rica.
Look it up, Eddie Bravo.
Yeah.
That's my impression. But yeah, no, that is something that Prince Andrew of England. I don't one of the fucking princes. Got wrapped up in the Epstein shit, and yeah.
Well, there's photos. There's photos of him with like a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah. No, and
Epstein and Ghislaine.
Not a conspiracy theory. There's strong evidence that's a thing. So the problem is, and people have been. Who was the guy? Oh man, like 20 fucking years ago, had a website called Disinfo. Brad something or other, Metzger, nobody, whatever. Disinfo. Yeah. He had a short-lived TV series, basically on the same premise, but he was pushing the idea of the pedophiles in Hollywood and all the way up in the royal families and like the aristocracy in England, and and then the Corey, the one that survived, it wasn't Haim, it was the other one, Feldman. That kid's been through some shit. And that they basically destroyed his life for just trying to say, hey, they're trying to fuck kids over here. So yeah, and it's obviously there's a big thing, but the problem is when the only people taking the story seriously are the same people that make tinfoil G-strings and fucking paint their nipples and super glue just so that they can't get DNA tested, whatever the fuck. Those people aren't exactly going to be credible, so nobody's going to take it seriously. So fuck. If it wasn't for who is it? Mia Farrow's son, Ronan Farrow.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, the Me Too thing wouldn't have broken. So because he actually had legitimate journalistic credentials.
Right, and now he's also now persona non grata.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't travel in those circles exactly, but fuck, yeah. So it's the problem with sussing out conspiracy theories that are bullshit and that are actual conspiracies involves it's really tough. I mean, because the more you think about the shit, the more you start wondering if some of that stuff's plausible. So you have to be highly conscientious and committed to evidence, to standards of evidence. Otherwise, because it's really interesting to believe that shit. It would be awesome to believe that. I mean, come on, how fucking amazing would it be? Oh yeah, the Earth's flat. Fuck yeah, wouldn't that be rad if it was? I mean, go to the edge of it, see the fucking shit splashing over the side or whatever. I don't know, throw a tennis ball over the side of the Earth. But I mean, all the conspiracy theories that are out there would be fucking cool if they were true. I mean, they give you sort of a sense that the world makes sense. That, shit is organized. Somebody's in control. They are the fucking lizard, transdimensional, vampire, pedophile aliens, whatever. Somebody's in control, which is a lot more comforting than the fact that we're just winging the shit and it could come crashing down at any moment. So
I don't want to go too deep into flat Earth because that is a topic for the ages. But
yeah, I'm reasonably sure it started as a joke, probably on one of the Chans. I mean, it's been out there forever, but I think it got a resurgence. And let's see how many fuck knuckles we can get to believe this. And then it just became a thing again. So didn't like Shaquille O'Neal believe in it or some fucking basketball player?
Yeah, not even sure. Don't even care.
Yeah. Okay, good point.
Duh.
So what's the next story? Because fuck those guys.
All right, next story. So next one is the Beirut explosion. This is actually a good one because there is a genuine conspiracy here.
Well, it was incompetence, wasn't it? It was just they were storing Russian munitions, right? Is that what that was? A Russian?
So yeah, they had a whole bunch of. I don't want to say like ammonium nitrate, but they had a whole bunch of some sort of like highly explosive material that they were storing in this warehouse that was on one of the piers. And like Beirut needs another explosion, right?
Yeah.
So I have a buddy that was in Beirut. Basically a knock. Right. And so he was there when they got blown up the last time. But this one was bad, though. And the fact that in the modern age that we have video that shows what that's transpired as it transpired, man, it was horrible. Like 3 miles away, there was the
wedding couple?
A cruise ship. It was like a cruise ship. It was parked on a pier like 3 miles away. That the devastation from the blast was so severe that it knocked the ship over and sunk it next to the pier. Yeah, so that was pretty hardcore, and for a short period of time, and I'm sure there's still some conspiracies rolling around about this being an intentional act, but it seems like just complete incompetence, like you said.
Yeah,
they had secured a bunch of
stable and non-corrupt government, and I think living in Texas, we know about inefficient government and poorly managed explosives and blowing up neighborhoods because it's happened here.
Yeah, so
several times in this fucking state.
Several times. Yeah,
we lost a city.
So actually. Interesting story. So remember the gender fluid kid out of Pflugerville a couple years ago? You don't remember this? He was the Austin package bomber.
Was that the kid that offed himself on I-35 at the end of the
Yes.
chase? Okay,
yeah, that kid.
Gender fluid. I thought he was just an asshole.
No, he was gender fluid. Like he was
like right winger. I mean, you can't be gender fluid and right wing.
Well, I don't know if he was a right winger, but he was definitely engaged in gender issues.
He was just probably fucked up, like just psychologically fucked up, and like grasping for something to identify with. So that sounds. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean that. That just dropped off my radar. It's like, oh yeah, we had a local bomber. I remember there was a meme. It was like a dude in a full bomb suit saying, and it was like, "I'm going to HEB. You need anything?" So
Yeah. So actually, no. I mean, there were a couple of months there where I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, if Amazon or UPS delivers any package, don't touch it. Let's audit it first, right?
Yeah.
So it was that level of scary. And part of the reason for that was that the very first victim of the bombing, so about a mile north of here, maybe 2 miles, is my kid's elementary school.
No.
And just on the other side of the fence from the elementary school is this quarry where they pull limestone and other stuff, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the very first victim of the bombing, the package bombings, was a guy that worked at the quarry right next to my kid's elementary school.
Oh shit. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
And then later down the road, I think it was maybe June or July or so, we're going down on Bull Creek, which is like underneath 360.
Yeah.
Capital Texas Highway. Yeah. So down on Bull Creek, right? So we're down on the river and like just having like a family outing day. And I go back to the car to fetch the cooler with all the lunches and stuff. And there's a big box truck parked there. And there's APD has showed up and is checking out this box truck. But this guy didn't know how to get into the box truck or check it out or whatever. But they were legitimately there scared that this was a bomb. And so I helped them clear the truck.
Damn.
And then I got lunch and went back to my family. So like that was like a really kind of
because they should.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Like we had PB&J or whatever.
You fund the police, motherfucker.
But I mean, that's how intense things were. Is like, here's just an unknown vehicle parked here for no reason. We think it's a bomb.
Oh shit!
And so that's how intense things were here for that 6 or 8 months that was going on.
Baker's in the chat, and I've just looked over at the chat, so I don't know if you can see that. It's like Montague County, Texas used to have a sign said, "Oh, this must be back to the part where they killed a dude by dragging him behind the truck." So Texas has the red state portion of the things. Yeah. Sign at the county line said blackest soil and the whitest people.
Ooh. Yeah, the soil isn't really that
wonder
black.
How far back that was. 2017? I don't know. Hopefully not anywhere near this millennia. But okay, what's the next story? Because we're way.
All right, next story. RBG.
RBG and ACB. Right?
ACB.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg
had two fucking last names because they're trying to make the notorious ACB. Or you had three initials now. You're because. Oh God, fuck it. Just let people have something. Fuck. I mean, the Handmaid's Tale shit was. That was a muddled message. Yes, she was a part of this hyper religious sect that women were called handmaids, or at least maybe a ranking of women were called handmaids, but it did not inspire Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale. It predated that shit. So
also, I think Atwood was a giant liberal.
Oh no, Atwood is no. Yeah, but I mean Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
Against hard. Basically, the point of that book, and I'm not like exactly a feminist literary scholar here, but the point of the book is that it can happen here. It's not just something that happens in like Iran where women are completely subjugated. And so she dialed it up a bit to make it more, wow, this is really fucked up because, I mean, even in the hardcorest parts of the Sunni or Shia, I forget which sect is the more strict. Oh, Wahhabi. The Wahhabist Islamic countries, like women don't get, like there isn't a class of women that's subjugated to basically get raped and bear children. So yeah, she dialed it up for effect. Not saying that, it's great to be a woman in that part of the world, but fuck. The whole point was just to say this shit could happen here. And man, if you have the nerve to watch a couple seasons of the show that they put on Hulu, it's bad. I mean, it's not the book. The book's over. You can read the book in an afternoon, but the show just drags it the fuck on. So it just becomes like misery porn. You're just like, man, this woman's life sucks. Oh God, this sucks. This is terrible. It just keeps being terrible. And then you quit watching it, which is what I did. But yeah. So anyway, Amy Coney Barrett is not shaping up to be anything other than a conventional Supreme Court justice. And I wish we had the Derek on to enlighten us on this, but he's not here right now, for reasons. And so I'm not the expert on this shit. I'm definitely not the constitutional law scholar. So, but I guarantee she's going to vote against abortion the first time they get a solid case on it. I mean, like a really one that could overturn Roe versus Wade, but we're not at that point yet. So of all the things that happened in the last year, fuck, man, let's just, no. Okay. Let's just move on because fucking I'm already exhausted.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Eddie Van Halen. Oh, Alex Trebek. Oh, that's a big one.
I honestly, celebrity deaths don't really, I mean, I don't know these people and I get that people are attached to them. I don't have a parasocial relationship with like any celebrity. So, okay, whatever. But although I will note about Alex Trebek that he did say the name of our website on TV.
Yep.
So that's cool. You can look it up. We were the Tournament of Champions 2011, like $400 websites question. So
yeah, hey. No, and there's video, and you can find that video.
When somebody showed me that the first time, somebody was like, "Hey, look at this." I'm like, "Motherfucker, that's a prank. You went to some generator." And they didn't even have the term deep fake at the time, but somebody did an impression of Alex Trebek saying that. I didn't believe it for like hours. And then it finally dawned on me, no. Because within that week, I had, on Reddit, I had talked to the guy who answered the question right. So we were the question. It was like, the answer was, Bullshito.net exposes frauds in these arts. And, like ninjutsu and Aikido. And the response was, the question was, what are martial arts? That was the correct response. And I talked to the guy that got it right. And he just coincidentally happened to be an Asian dude. So that was, people making that's racist. But anyway, so that's my connection to Alex Trebek. Okay. I had more of a connection with Will Ferrell's version of Alex Trebek emotionally, but there we go.
So I think, what's his face? So I know you don't care about this shit at all, but I think what's his face is down for the count, and Vanna White. So what's his name?
Pat Sajak.
From Pat Sajak. Yeah.
It's not that I know lots about these people. I just have a head for useless fucking information. So yeah, Pat Sajak. Yeah, Vanna White. So yeah, first of all, like, she still looks like she's like 35 years old. Good for her, man. That's
what the fuck.
Well, I mean, that's there's an app for that. So
yeah, I guess. But I thought that there was something wrong with Pat Sajak. I think maybe he got like COVID or something like that. I'm looking.
If any of the game show hosts can get a disease and die, and I got the option of picking one, it would probably be Steve Harvey. So just because I'm so tired of it. I mean, yeah, the first like 300 times they prompted a question that's obviously going to respond on Family Feud, that's going to come up with an answer that, makes them, the contestants say something fucking inappropriate. I mean,
he was pretty fucking funny in that role.
He's basically a live version of the YouTube React videos where those fucking hammy motherfuckers watch something that they've seen before and they're like, oh my God. Woo. So I was like, I can't believe fucking Wonder Woman saved that kid, or shit. I try to avoid those things. Although,
Well,
you know what? I will admit to it.
I was going to suggest that we do some of that.
God, I just hate the YouTube fucking just sphere. It's just so insincere. It's like every video title card is like some guy's like, or, just fucking fuck you, man. Be authentic. Have a genuine reaction to shit. And when you have genuine reactions to shit, they don't come all the time with a camera in your face. Like right now, I'm probably hamming this up because there's a camera in my face. Although I'm pretty animated about shit in general. So, but you can tell when somebody's like, oh, yeah, guys. Oh, yeah. Just like and subscribe. So I'm just fucking, insincerity gets me because, come on, bullshit. This is an existential thing, but fuck. So yeah, if we do a YouTube thing, and this will get sent over to YouTube automatically once it's done. Wow. There we go. So, and maybe I'll go back in and put a title card. You and me going, some stupid fucking face and like big fonts and shit. And like, whatever. It just, if we ever do that, then yeah, it's cool. But yeah, YouTube just fucking pisses me off. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Pat Sajak.
Pat Sajak. Okay. Yeah, no, I was talking about wanting that dipshit to get killed, to come down with a disease and die instead of Alex Trebek. Like Steve Harvey. Yeah, that guy. So.
Oh, Steve Harvey. Yeah.
He is basically a React video. Anyway, no, I was going to divert into this because this is a complete derail. I am a science fiction nerd. Your life has to be about liking something as much as it is about hating shit. And we focus on the shit that we hate, like almost exclusively on the website. But I am a huge fan of the new Mandalorian and the Star Wars shit to the point where I'm going back to where I was as a kid liking this, Jedi. Oh, it's so fucking cool, man. I want to be Han Solo when I grow up. Anyway, so I did sit and watch 30 minutes. For 30 fucking minutes I wasted on my day watching grown adults react to the last episode of The Mandalorian. And
yeah. Okay.
You can tell the difference between the ones that are sincere and the ones that are hamming it up. But I don't want to spoil it for you because if you haven't watched it, it's worth watching. Seeing grown men who have obviously been disappointed by the last several fucking clusterfucks of movies watch this reaction or have a genuine reaction to an episode that felt like they did when they watched it as kids, felt like the Star Wars that they saw. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but some of these people were legitimately in tears, and not in a snowflakey kind of way, but fuck, it was like the scene from Lord of the Rings where all the Rohirrim get together, they're about to charge the assault on Minas Tirith. They're like, the Theoden's like, a red day, a sword day, death. Like that shit. That makes me tear up every time because we're both military, but we would have never seen a charge like that in our lifetime. So
yeah, true.
So but
I'm still pissed that he didn't have the barrel whites in Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah. Well, you can only fit so much in, but back to the Star Wars things. The guys, mostly guys, because some of them had like a female co-host, probably their girlfriend or something, that was like obviously not as into it as they were, because it's a pretty dude-centric story, and I think they tried to fix it with the last couple movies. They didn't. It was just bad. But to see them genuinely react, because I felt it, and I don't like react videos because that whole genre of shit is just fake. But you could tell when it wasn't with these ones. So that's my YouTube experience. Maybe I'm warming to the whole thing, to the platform. Maybe we'll have one of these days when, people aren't dying, when everybody's gotten vaccinated, or when I'm just not worried about any of us like getting sick from being in the same room together. We'll set something up. We'll have, we'll convert like one of our places into a studio, and we'll watch some shit, and we'll have genuine reactions, and we'll record it, because some of those I've learned some stuff from it, and I'm warming to it. As long as it's authentic, that's all I care about.
Yeah. That's the real deal. So and they are tremendously popular. Like every other video that comes up in my YouTube feed.
Yeah.
These days is like, veteran reacts or, something like that, right?
9-year-old woman reacts to Kim Kardashian getting plowed by that one rapper guy. Yeah. I mean, not that they would show that on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure there's a react video to that. Just statistically, it's likely. So
we had, a long time ago, this would be like 98, 99, somewhere in there. We had this client. So we were a consulting firm. We had this client, and this client was in the online retail space, basically competing with what was to become Amazon and Barnes and Noble online and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So he had this philosophy of, this is the greatest idea ever. We can make so much money with this idea because nobody is doing it. Look at Amazon. Look at Barnes and Noble. Nobody's doing this. And it's like, those are like the two biggest players in the space, and they're doing it, and you're chasing their tails. But I think there is some value to that.
Yeah.
Bring an air of authenticity to it, which would kind of be our shtick, right? I
like to think that we've established ourselves as come on, that's our entire fucking modus operandi, as a bullshit-free medium of thing. The people in our orbit, we're all, we don't all agree on shit, but we all are sort of mutually in agreement that we don't want bullshit. You don't have the same opinion on things to share the same facts. So that's kind of it's sort of an ethos. And so, yeah, I think like even the wildest assholes in our orbit could sit in the room together and watch something and not have fake ass reactions. Although I swear to God, if we did, and somebody was like, "Oh my God," just you're hamming it up and just like mugging for the camera like some fucking debutante, I'm gonna drag them out of there by their fucking ear, and then we'll just continue the broadcast if that's what we end up doing. Like we watched Wolf Warrior. I wish we had set up to get our faces and shit watching it, because that was first time we saw it, we had no idea what to expect. We commented on it through the whole thing, and like none of our audio went through on the fucking feed, so it was just all chat. And so if we do that right, yeah, we'll I think it would be one of the few ones that's not a bunch of fucking
that was actually a really fun movie to watch.
Yeah, we just
because we had zero expectations on what this thing was going to be.
It wasn't
I think
a bad movie,
and it just kind of experiencing like it actually ended up being a pretty good movie overall, an entertainment perspective.
It
had that national kind of BS in there. And
if you go for Rambo, you should fucking go for this shit. Not the first one, because that was that was completely fucking. Maybe the second one a little bit too, but by the time of 3 and 7, they were just straight up propaganda. So, which that's
anyway,
don't hate the game.
Yeah, that was fun. So things like that. So something that we're maybe one of us has been exposed to, and so there's obviously going to be a little bit of fake reaction there, but bringing everyone else along.
Gen X white dudes react to. I don't know, fucking Fortnite dances. Let's just not do that, okay? Let's some shit that we actually care about, because that's why we would be doing it in the first place. Ow, that was
what was the Nazi movie?
Jojo Rabbit. Is that
no, the one from like the 90s.
Oh, fucking American History X.
No, not that one.
Because literally the only reason to watch that movie is for the curb stomp scene.
Hold on. I gotta look it up real quick.
Fuck you, cedar trees.
Hold on. I know how to do this. Because I know who was in the fucking movie.
Nazi movie from the 90s. Is it were the Nazis the bad guy? Well, obviously they're the bad guys. But was it like
Swing Kids. Swing Kids. That's what it's called. You never watched Swing Kids?
That does not movie I would have watched. Is that something?
It's a great movie.
No, Swing Kids. About dancing? Yeah. Because I don't think
It was about Nazi. It was about Nazis
Nazi dancing.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a double reason not to watch it. Because I think the last dancing movie I watched was Dirty Dancing. That's because I just
this was actually better.
That was better.
Yeah.
Well, did a dude with a glorious mullet lift a girl off the ground to 80s music? Because that's.
No, this is better. This is like actual like jazz swing music.
Oh, yeah. We're way the fuck off. What was it? What were we talking about Alex Trebek dying?
No, we were talking about doing like asshole.
Yeah, it started with Alex Trebek, then it went to the fact that I kind of want Steve Harvey to die of an illness instead of one of the game show hosts that I grew up with because he's a fucking living.
He should die. He should die of laughter from a really bad joke that one of his.
He should just die old in his bed because that's what we should say as a nice, especially as two white dudes sitting there talking about him. So let's change the subject real fucking fast. So what's the next one?
I ran out. You want me?
Oh, that was it. So we ended.
Well,
Steve
we could do COVID, election fraud.
We did COVID. That was our last podcast. So, and that was actually a really good podcast somehow with just
right.
Me.
So we've had 4 podcasts this year on COVID. Actually, 5. If you go back to January, I forget.
We talked about it.
Well,
yeah.
We actually talked about it. We were kind of joking about it, and then the next month it became a thing. And
yeah.
Oh, we should.
Well, in January, I remember. I will own up to it because not everybody in January like, okay, this shit's coming. Stay calm. Don't panic. We don't know what it's going to be about. But then a bunch of people jumped in with like, they were absolutely sure that, no, it's just going to be like a flu, blah, blah, blah. And people that didn't have any fucking qualifications. Motherfucking Dr. Drew, of all people. And that guy actually had some bona fide. He's a doctor. And he did a lot of good fighting HIV in the 80s and like getting like gay kids to come forward and like fighting STDs. And he was a good voice in that space. But then somehow in the last several years, he went hardcore fucking, I don't know if he went MAGA himself or he just realized that though that audience is easier to grift off of because when you say things people want to hear, they buy your merchandise. So, or they subscribe to your fucking private podcast feed or OnlyFans account. I don't know what the fuck Dr. Drew's up to today. So whatever it is, he went towards that and he was saying, no, this is just a flu and it's just don't worry about it. Go live your life, motherfucker. And just what he came out down with today. And I'm frothing at the fucking mouth because I'm so fucking enraged about this shit. Yeah, he's got COVID. So man, you could tell this year has aged me 10 years. It's elevated my blood pressure. I am just constantly enraged about shit. And I try to be pretty chill. I'm not normally this wound up. I've cut out energy drinks, which was a love of my life. I just, wake up the 3 or 4 a day. I've cut them out because if I didn't, I'd fucking die. I don't need caffeine to get me through the day. I'm just pure fucking adrenaline rage. I'm just,
Huh?
Like you could bottle my fucking serum and like mix it into fucking like Sprite and then sell that shit. So it's just filled with whatever fucking hormone controls anger. Which honestly, I don't know which it is. It's probably a combination of things, but
testosterone.
Yeah. Last I checked, my testosterone was pretty good for my fucking age. So, but no, fuck. That's all I have to say about this year. That's my year-end statement. So, for the record, my year-end thought wrap-up statement is fuck.
Yeah. So the official bullshito. What do you call it? Rectification or whatever on the year of 2020 is.
Yeah, the post.
Fuck you.
Maybe a U. The U's optional. It's one of those if the shoe fits, cram it up your fucking ass things. Actually, if it doesn't fit, because that if a shoe fits up your ass, man, you're.
Hey,
I don't want to know what you're into. Live your best life, but man, okay. I don't think I have anything else to add. I mean, at this point, I'm going to start, looking like I fucking got rabies.
Well, so anyway, it's been a great year. Otherwise, for Bullshito, we've done some significant things. We've had 2 forum upgrades this year, one of which was a complete fucking disaster, and one of which is really super awesome. So make sure you join us over. We're doing our best to cultivate and publish new articles page.
Oh god, I have one I have to do tonight. So it's like
right, the one you were talking about earlier.
BMI.
Right, BMI.
I didn't write
so
it.
And also, yeah. So also remember that we do still hold the distinction of being one of the biased news sources on the internet.
Yep.
And that's why you should go to the homepage and check us out there.
You fucking hate everybody. So
yeah.
It's not that we have no bias. We just bias against fucking everybody. So it's perfectly even. So
right.
Bullshit does not belong to any end of the ideological spectrum, despite the fact that some people are trying to take advantage, trying to, make it part of their strategy more than others. It's still, we're equal opportunity, middle finger waggers. So.
Right. So, make sure you join us over on the sites. Make sure you listen to our past podcasts because there's a lot of great information in there. We have no merch for you right now, but we will rectify that soon.
We don't sell the shit to make money. We just sell it so that people can have shit that has cool little logos on it. It looks cool. And honestly, on some level, I'm not even, because, I'm not going to bullshit you. I have a couple extra hats, and I order t-shirts. I have a couple extra t-shirts, and I just wear them as shirts because, if it doesn't sell, at least I have like 10 extra medium shirts to put on, and, it's just the schmedium thing. So,
right. And so it's about pride in the community and in the mission to fight against fake news, bullshit, conspiracy theories, everything that's not true. Yeah. And just to wrap things up, 2020.
I got a comment. Beaker in the comments said we're bias against bias, and that works great.
Yep. So, yep, that works great.
That's
Thanks,
so much
Beaker.
Better. Maybe he should be running this podcast.
Yeah, maybe. We should have him on again. We had him on once.
Yeah. We kind of did like a big just fucking dog pile. Everybody sit there and talk shit. We should do one of those. Plus, it's easier than thinking of an actual topic. So just see how it goes.
So if we get into the habit of doing then that'll be a lot easier to manage.
We could do that as just people, as like a big, as a, like maybe once every couple, like once a quarter, or even just once a year, whatever thing for our supporting contributing members to just join us, dogpile into the fucking channel, and we're just talk shit. That's what we do. We're just gonna fucking hang out and fucking just run with it and just see what the fuck happens. And make sure we have our fingers on the button before some dipshit drops an N-bomb or something, because, there's always one. There's always one asshole that has to ruin
There's always one,
else.
yeah.
So
I think, we could talk about the technical.
Not Bicker, though, because he's cool. So we argue a lot,
yeah, sort of. But he's an elf, but whatever. Anyway, he's like this tall.
No. He's like hauling deer out of the fucking backwoods of the bumblefuck Idaho, like with his bare teeth. That's totally not the image I have of the guy.
No, Beaker's cool. He's one of my dear.
Are we going to spend the last 2 minutes of this?
No. We're not going to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to give an official Bullshito salute to 2020.
Is that? Oh, okay. I was just going to scream into the microphone and actually froth at the mouth again, because fuck. All
right. You want to wrap this up?
I was just going to end on the fuck. So actually,
right.
I'm going to do that. Actually, for the podcast, because we're going to stop the stream in a second. But for the one that goes out, I'm just going to end it on the fuck, and then it's going to start playing the outro music, and it's going to stop and pause at that part, because it's that theme. It was
Yep.
Fuck. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And we're done. I'm stopping this. Bye, people.
All right.